Welcome back. I want to introduce you to, I think it's the first chapter of my book, The Side of Kindness. The first chapter is called, I Don't Agree with You, So Shoot Me. And I want to explain the context of that chapter. First of all, by telling you a story about me and my mother. My mother lived in a nursing home for her last 3 years of her life. And every Wednesday morning, I would pick her up from the nursing home, and off we would go to her most favorite restaurant, which was the IHOP, because she loved their pancakes. So every Wednesday morning, we would go there, devoutly go there every Wednesday morning, and I would order always the same pancakes, eggs over easy, bacon crispy, and coffee. And she would order her one strawberry pancake with a side of jam and a cup of coffee. You could tell certainly who had the bigger appetite. And then once we got our coffee, she would raise her coffee cup and she'd say, let's make a toast. And she'd say, here's to you and here's to me. May we never disagree. But if we do, the hell with you. Here's to me. And she would laugh herself silly, and then she'd look all around the restaurant to make sure nobody heard her swear, because it was the only swear word she ever used, I think, in her whole life, and it was always on Wednesday mornings at the IHOP. She used to laugh herself silly, and so did I, because we would revel in our little moment of niceness, I guess, or a moment of lack of niceness, and she just enjoyed it so much. But it made me think a lot about that first chapter in my book. I've been thinking a lot about the words of our weekly rebellion against niceness and how sometimes it's truer now than ever before, but how we treat and act and how we are if we allow another person to disagree with us. What kind of society have we become when we are no longer welcoming another point of view? We simply want to instead surround ourselves with people who think like we do, and in doing so, we shut ourselves off from broadening our perspective, our opinion, and maybe looking at another point of view which may be better or clearer than our own. Why is it that people, including myself, often assume that everyone should agree with my way of thinking, and if they don't, there's something wrong with them, certainly not me. So I've been feeling lately that that is a good question to ask ourselves. Are we willing to listen and to respect those who think differently than we do? Or have we succumbed to bringing out the words to a song that I heard that the melody goes like this, and we all look, think, act just the same. Do we? Is that what we're looking for? Just being around and spending time with people who look, act, think, or feel just the same as we do. You can tell the differences in people's opinions by reading their blogs or their Facebook pages, the language used anymore, and the forcefulness behind their words are sometimes filled with anger, even rage, especially towards someone who has a different viewpoint than they do. Different viewpoint from our own. How do we react when we meet someone who has a different viewpoint? Or do we avoid spending time with people who respectfully, and that's important, respectfully disagree with us? Why can't disagreements be viewed as healthy and acceptable as long as they are reasonable and realistic? People think differently, and it is important to respect as well as encourage different opinions and points of view. We need to allow people to disagree, and it should be not looked upon as offensive or stupid. You know, if we can't enter into respectful debate on issues of importance, then how can we expect to grow? How can we expect to change? How can we expect to understand each other better? How can we be more compassionate and give rise to a gentler, kinder world? I don't know, because what we certainly need today is a kinder world where we can view with longing another person's point of view, which may be different from our own, and then resolve to listen to that point of view more carefully. So let us in the future, and maybe this week, we could try to practice this, to be willing to listen and be open to another point of view and be willing to compromise if necessary. And maybe someone will respectfully, when listening to a different point of view, they might say to us, quote, "Thank you. I never thought of it that way before." End of quote. Let's see what we can do this week to improve the wiser, gentler, and kinder world that we need so desperately. Thank you. Have a good week.